Hello everyone and welcome to another high-elo game of Age of Empires. Today, two civilizations who are no strangers to fighting one another in real life meet once more on the battlefield, this time electronically as the Viper, playing as the Turks in yellow, takes on Overtaken, playing as the Slavs in blue. Now all the players heard their herdables explore their immediate surroundings with gobbles and scouts, and try to get their butts up to Feudal Age ASAP. Why don't we take a look at the Civ matchup we are going to be watching today? Now, the Turks are a civilization built around their love of gunpowder. Their gunpowder units are created faster. They have extra HP, come with cheaper technologies, and some of those gunpowder units can be upgraded to get extra range. Now, staying on the whole gunpowder theme, the unique unit of the Turks is the Janissary. This is a more expensive but overall less accurate hand cannoneer that comes with more HP, a stronger attack, more armor, but no bonus against infantry, which may not make it the best unit, rather hand cannoneer style unit, to go up against the Slavs, whose infantry is pretty darn strong. Now, to support their heavy but expensive units on the field of battle, the Turks can field some pretty decent supporting units. To start with, their scout line units come with extra pierce armor. Their cav archers can be upgraded to get 20 extra HP, and those scout line units I just mentioned automatically upgrade from scout to light cav to hussars upon reaching Castle Age and Imperial, which does give the Turks access to top-of-the-line light cavalry units immediately without having to wait for those upgrades to be researched. Now, in order to afford their gunpowder units, which are pretty darn expensive, Turkish gold miners do work 20% faster. They get chemistry free of charge, and those free upgrades I just mentioned, where their scouts become light cav, become hussars, does save them 1,300 resources, among that 650 gold. Pivoting to the eastern part of the map, where we've got Overtaken playing as the Slavs, a civilization that loves to get in your face with its melee units. To start with their infantry, whose upgrade line and what do we want to call it, blacksmith, etc. line is already pristine, can be upgraded even more to do trample damage. And their unique unit, the Boyar, is a fairly slow, super tanky, powerful cavalry unit with a high amount of melee and pierce armor. Think Teutonic Knight on a horse. Now, to support their melee units on the field of battle against harassment by annoying things like range units, perhaps some cav archers, perhaps some hand cannoneer style units, all Slavic Siege Workshop units are 15% cheaper, which is amazing because the Slavs have access to all Siege Workshop units with the exception of bombard cannons, and those cheaper Slavic siege units can be combined with their monks, which automatically move 20% faster than normal to generate a powerful siege monk rush. Now, Slavic castles themselves can also be upgraded so that 40% of their stone cost is replaced with wood, which does save players 260 stone per castle. Although, obviously, to get that technology from a castle, you actually have to first pay full price for one castle. Now, to help you grow your military production, the Slavs get both supplies and gambesons for free. Their farmers work 15% faster, and every single barracks, archery range, stable, and siege workshop actually provides 5 population space, just like a house, which does free up a little bit of wood for a bit more farming, maybe some of those detonets castles, or just more army supply in general. So these are the two civilizations we've got before us, both of them sitting at 17 villagers a pop, one with a gold mining bonus, one with a food income bonus. We'll see how the players decide to play this, both getting loom at the same time, and I'm assuming they're both probably, with their 0 TC idle time, will likely go up at the same time. Although, of course, as I say that, watch one of their TC idle times jump up. A good time for us, as actually, never mind, they are going up at the exact same time. Fantastic, off the back of only 18 villagers. Let's take a look at the bases and see where the resources are located, see if we can identify any weak points that any player might want to press, as it looks like the scouts engage for a brief little bout of kissing and then disengage. You're not my type, says one scout to the other as they run away from one another. Primary stone and gold for the Viper, nice and secure to the back. Forests, one's pretty close by, two not really in the forward-ish position. The forward portion, rather, of the Viper's base seems pretty damn open, and his additional gold, 1, 2, and stone, all in kind of the forward-ish position, although this one's nice and secure to the back. And the Viper does have a few wood lines here to the rear, which may help with some cav archer production. 2 lumber camps already. Of course, why risk it with the forests that are further away when you have one that's already so much closer. Overtaken, by the way, now discovering where his opponent is, the Viper. Also, I mean, they're both going up at the same time off the same number of villagers. They're both discovering each other's bases at the same time. So far, everything indicates to a nice, fun game. Primary gold for our slab to the back. Primary stone kind of in the middle, but not really on the attack path, unless the Viper decides to pivot southwards. So not terrible, not great. Also, secondary, tertiary gold, and secondary stone, all a little bit in the forward position, with the exception of the same gold that the Viper has kind of in the middle / rear. Forests, not really any closer. Wow, wait a second. Whereas the Viper, I guess this doesn't count as a third forest. I guess the Viper only has 2 forests. Well, this is an interesting new spawn for Arabia. I don't think I've seen only 2 forests, and both of them very far away from the town center. Damn you, stairs, says the horse. I can't go up you, so I'm obviously going to take my anger out on this one house. Villager takes a little bit of damage, but with Loom, should be strong enough to defend against this one damage scout as the game glitches out as usual in the 10 and a half minute mark of the game. Do you guys even notice that the game is glitching out, or should I just stop mentioning it? Sometimes I feel like I mention things and at the end of the day, no one really notices. And then I sound like a, I don't want to say a crazy person, but I sound a little like I'm either making something up or Viper tries to wall off his villager. Uh-oh, wait a second. Wait a second. His scout is over here chasing this one scout. Let's keep an eye on her HP now. She's definitely dead. And first kill, first blood drawn by our Slavic scouts, who get the kill and immediately abscond. So the Viper now goes down 1 villager, 23 to 24. Army supplies identical. 4 scouts, 2 spears, 4 scouts, 2 spears. But our Slav looks like he is adding a few archers as the Viper gets revenge, catches up to one of these scouts and guns him down from behind. Ooh, the Viper's trying to sandwich, but Overtaken notices it. Fantastic game sense out of him to keep an eye on those scouts and save them from at least 18 HP of damage. Will this weaker one have died if he got attacked? Maybe not, because I feel like he had 19 before he got hit by that one scout to the front. Now remember, when we do hit Castle Age, I'm assuming we're going to hit Castle Age at some point, Viper's yellow scouts are automatically going to become light cav. So it's in his best interest to not really take engagements right now that could potentially kill his scouts. The longer he keeps them alive, literally the more powerful they become. And so we'll see how he decides to engage into this. Ultimately, if your opponent forces a fight, you have to take a fight. But like I said, it's in the Viper's best interest here to keep these guys around for as long as possible. Oh, 2 archers, very ballsy, moving forward ahead of their teammates, let's call them, other units, and they immediately pay the price here. But Viper's spearman trying to distract his opponent. Looks like Overtaken and the Viper both are going to invest in some good old Feudal Age shenanigans, as neither one of them is banking any kind of real resources. Although once this army is dead or dealt with from Overtaken, I don't see any more reinforcements streaming across the map. But of course, right as I say that, an archer pops out. Let's take a look at the bases as the players disengage. Good time for us. We know there's a stable. Now we know there's an archery range, a barracks. No blacksmith, no market yet for our Turk. We've got a stable and, okay, archery range and a barracks for our Slav as well. So both of them going full on military buildings as their 2 prerequisites to going up to Castle Age. And remember, for the Slav, each one of these provides 5 population space, which explains why he has 45 supply available to the Viper with only 5 houses to the Viper's 9. And he does not look like he is leaving anytime soon. A few archers here means that you can't really wall off anymore. So the Viper's got to get the hell away from here. Otherwise, he risks losing these villagers. Oh, speaking of risking losing villagers, look at this. Overtaken has walled himself in fantastically against any kind of melee aggression here from the Viper. And so the Viper hasn't mixed a single ranged unit. All of his ranged, meaning his skirmishers, right now are back home. And so there is 0 risk to Overtaken right now. His economy is absolutely safe and secure. The Viper realizes and heads back home, but not before he catches a reinforcement. And yet another archer dies yet yet another 45 bars of gold down the toilet. Yeah, I guess it wouldn't be 45 bars of gold, maybe 45 golden coins. And look at that, the Viper is just managing to pick up everything, and he catches the straggling archers who are not keeping up with the spearmen. So Overtaken's military micro is leaving him a little bit of exposed here. The archers are either way too far forward, way too far back, and the Viper is just absolutely taking advantage of it, nipping at the heels of this Slavic army as it heads home. But to be honest, heading home with 5 spearmen, 2 archers, not exactly the worst in the world. As our Slav now heads up to the next stage, another stable for him, and a tower going up. He does not want to deal with any kind of shenanigans. Why did he delete his palisades? I'm not too sure. He was nice and secure in there. Maybe he thought that these skirmishers would make an issue of his gold line, and so placing that tower there helps defend against them. What are you building here? A market? Does anyone have a blacksmith? Absolutely not. Looks like I pivoted as always at the wrong time. A blue villager lies dead above his farm. His hoe, his bucket lying next to him. So the Viper is being incredibly opportunistic here with his scouts. And this is very much a skill check, but this is very unfortunate. This is what you don't want to happen here as the Turks, because now all of a sudden you've got 2 fewer light cavalry, and in a minute 30 seconds, I hope that I'll be able to remember to look here. But our Slav will hit the next age first. He's got a blacksmith finally up here to the north of his base. He's researching armor upgrades for his cavalry. The Viper laming a few farms so far. Nothing really too crazy at the moment. Kill count, though, double for the Viper, who, even though he lost the first villager, does end up getting revenge, killing 2 of his opponents on top of 8 more military. But to be honest, the Slavic economy is pretty safe. Again, aside from a few lamed farms, not really much the Viper can accomplish here with a few very basic skirmishers. He stopped all military production. Look at his food count. Look at his stone count. He's buying stone. Okay, so now the question is not if, but when and where this castle will be dropped. No, whoa. Incredibly defensive castle out of the Viper. Viper playing this very close to his chest here. 2 knights, 3 knights are moving forward. There's 3 more somewhere on the map. Must be those blue dots I'm seeing streaming. Yep. And the Viper's economy is about to get hit hard by this heavy cavalry unit. But again, heavy cavalry unit is still just a melee cavalry unit. Does he see the castle? Not yet. If this was a Frankish knight with the extra line of sight, he would have seen it, but he catches a few villagers. This might be a one-way trip for these knights, though. Let's see it. Let's see it. Okay, not terrible. Takes a bit of damage, takes a little bit of HP. By the way, now that the Viper's in castle, I, of course, said I wanted to remind myself. Instead, I forgot. Now, interestingly, the Viper is going up to handcart, while our Slav, not even wheelbarrow. Although with those 15% faster working farmers, they got buffed recently. It used to be 10%. Now it's 15. His food income is in no jeopardy. The Viper's going Janissary. All right. Now, I guess that's one way to deal with the tankier units of your opponent. The Janissary does attack on a 17, but I believe its base accuracy is like 50%. Yeah, that's a Rambai level shitty accuracy for our Janissary. Although that's 17 attack. These units were nerfed recently. If you remember, their range used to be 8 in Castle Age. Now it's 7. Although against a unit that has 0 range, not terrible at all. Let's see how this goes for the Viper. He's continuing to go Janissary. I thought for sure we were going to see perhaps a camel or 2 out of him. If I'm not mistaken, Turkish camels, their upgrade line is pretty pristine as well. I think the only thing the Turks are missing are paladins, to be honest. And so if your opponent's going heavy on the cavalry, why the hell not go... Why the hell not add in a few camels here and there? Where are these guys going? Where are they moving to? Perhaps they're bait. Ooh, I think Undertaken should have stayed around. Should have tried to kill that one unit. What are you over here? A monk. 3 surviving light cavalry units. We've got a knight being attacked by a jaguar, not a warrior, not a shallot on a horse. just a plain Mother Nature Jaguar. And now the Viper is getting battering rams? 2? Okay, now, I don't know if this is really a spoiler or not a spoiler alert. I've seen some games of the Viper recently where he's really tried to make a go of this garrison my units functionality that they added to the game. And I guess that's what we're seeing here. Amazing. Okay, let's see some fun shenanigans out of the Viper. Who catches out a monk? Does he notice? Does he notice? He should notice. Doesn't notice. Why doesn't he notice? Is he back home? He's microing battering rams. Oh, that was a sour miss there. He could have gotten that monk. It is now 2 relics to 1 in favor of our Slav. But the Viper sees this one. Does he see the last one? No, I don't see the last one, which tells me it's en route to either Blue's base or Yellow's base. And I am missing it. Why can't I see it on the minimap? Yikes. Oh, look at that. I love it. It is so hard. I say this on Arena all the time. It is incredibly hard to keep your monks safe from light cavalry units. You can form perimeters around them, but the maneuverability of the light cav is just insane. And here we go. They pop in, they pop out. We're going to play a game of whack-a-mole, except in this case, the mole whacks you back with 17 DPS. And even the knight with its 3 pierce armor is going to have a tough time dealing with this. Yeah, it looks like that relic was heading back to the Slavic base because our Slav now has 3, but our Viper is going to have 2 of his own. So 3 relics to 2. Not exactly the end of the world. Now, this is a fairly small army out of the Viper. There's a lot of monks here who still outrange, even though we are in Castle Age and therefore no block printing. They still do outrange these monks significantly. Do Slavs get block printing? Yeah, I think they do. Okay, Viper chooses. He says, you know what? You attacked my house 20 minutes ago. How dare you, sir? I am going to attack your house instead. And it looks like Viper's going to get cleaned up here, but he's certainly doing a lot of moving with his units, not a lot of attacking. But he's going to mete out a good amount of damage. It's very rare in my... Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree. This is all anecdotal, because this is just my experience with this unit, the Janissary. And it looks like he is doubling down on Janissaries. A Janissary-only army composition doesn't generally win games, right? Or am I... Is it just my experience? Obviously, I don't speak... I'm not AI. I haven't analyzed all 350,000 games of Age of Empires that were played this year. Will the Janissary get reconverted? Let's see. Will he rejoin the flock? First ball misses the monk. Nope. He returns to his new Slavic masters. But in my experience watching games with Turks where the players double down on Janissaries, even though they pack an insanely powerful punch at 17, look at that second between attack, 3.5 seconds. That is a very slow attack. That is literally half of a knight, which is what, 1.9, 1.8? I always confuse 1.9 and 1.8. It's literally half the attack of the knight. And so even though the knight only attacks on a 10 right now, it still will do more damage because it's doing 20 damage to your 17. Not included, not factoring in armor, of course. Obviously, the Janissary does a little bit less. The Knight does a little bit less. But the Viper is heading up to Imperial. Look at the villager counts. The Viper is doing what Hera did a few days ago, where he is just rushing up to Imperial, and he is sacrificing his economy. Our Slav, 1, 2, 3 town centers. Our Turk, 1 town center. I'd like to say it's a 1 town center all in, but if it was, he'd be on the move right now, no? 14 Janissaries is more than enough. I think 12 is what you need with these battering rams who have 6 garrison space. Unless he's building a 3rd. No, he's not. So the Viper is going to have access to trebuchets, which is amazing. The Slavs, again, do miss bombard cannon. So getting things from a distance is going to be a big problem for them, whereas distance not really an issue for the Turks with their boom sticks. And here we go. Let's see how many knights he managed to get. And this is why Janissaries just don't win games. I don't know what to say. Again, I invite everyone who's listening to this part of the cast to tell me, what is your experience with the Turks, if you have any. Does this unit win games on its own? Maybe with shenanigans, putting it into a battering ram. And by the way, another castle from the Viper, another defensive castle. Rush distance isn't the biggest between the two bases, but this is very defensive from the Viper. Is he going to try to get the additional stone here afterwards? He is securing the forward portion of his base. He's got 3 battering rams moving forward. 666, the number of the beast. 1819 elite Janissaries. So the Viper says, you know what? I'm going to just sacrifice my entire economy. He's down 31 villagers. He needs to get damage done, or the usual Age of Empires, what do we want to call it, trope situation, is just going to materialize, as it always does. When one player sacrifices economy and doesn't get a killing blow, the other player, if he absorbs the blow, will just ultimately and eventually overwhelm the player who sacrifices his economy. And the Viper really is sacrificing his economy. He's on 1 town center, training 1 villager at a time. Our Slav is going up to almost 100 villagers, and the Viper is investing in siege ram. So he knows he's got an opportunity to destroy this army, but he doesn't know that his opponent's 6 seconds away from Imperial with enough resources to go Cavalier. And that's exactly what he does. Okay, good to know I can cast, I can call things once in a while. But Cavalier versus Elite Janissary. Ugh. I mean, I didn't mean to just woof into your ears there. Converted dick comes back to try to attack his former teammates, but he gets gunned down, and here we go. Looks like 1 battering ram, siege ram, has already fallen. No, never mind, it's right here. But now the knights surround. The rams go down. There are a clump of Janissaries in there, but again, this is just the problem with Janissaries. And by the way, this is against knights. In 7 seconds, they're going to be Cavaliers. Their stats are going to be exponentially better. And there they go, checkered flags. They do ultimately perish, though. But again, the Viper, for someone who's sacrificing his economy, he's down 38 villagers now. He is just not getting the damage that's done. Who cares about a few Slavic houses? They don't need houses. They've got barracks, stables, and archery ranges. They've got a siege workshop. Siege workshop, anybody? Any takers? No, not a single siege workshop on the map. I didn't mean to jerk the camera around so jagged and raggedy like that. At least get a town center. Okay, I don't think these guys come with a building attack bonus, right? It's just rams. Okay. And he's missing. Their base accuracy, by the way, now jumps to 65, I believe. Yeah. So still lower than the hand cannoneers, which I believe is 75. Uh-oh. 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 Okay. Getting 1 Cavalier. 2 Cavalier. 3. 4. 5. 6. Okay, so Viper's getting a good amount of kills here. But Janissaries aren't free. And he's losing. He's getting pushed back with all these conversion attempts. So he's always got to be on the move. He can't stop. And when you're on the move, you've got to time that 3.5 seconds right. Because if you're waiting 4 seconds, 4.5 seconds to fire, you are losing a lot of damage against your opponent. So you have to be very comfortable with counting 3.5 seconds every time you move, stop, attack, move, stop, attack, move, stop, attack. By the way, the Janissary costs, I said it's not cheap, it's not free. It basically costs as much as a, now that I think about it, as a Cavalier. Janissaries are 55 gold and 60 food. That's not that much cheaper than a Cavalier. Ram, confused, doesn't know where he is, moves forward. In come more blue checkered butts as they try to converge on this Turkish army, who is holding its own. But again, this is the last thing you want to be doing when you're down 40 villagers. 43 villagers. The last thing you want to be doing is fighting a rear action towards your own base being pushed back. And now I'm starting to get a little bit worried for our Turk. He has not accomplished anything. He's down now 46 villagers. No, 43 villagers. Never mind. He caught up a little bit there. And now our Slav, who, oh no, he's going light cabin, most likely Hussars as well at some point, is just going to start running. And by the way, the Viper hasn't walled in his base at all. And he's off of one town center. So each individual villager that dies is just absolutely terrible for him. Please, at least get the town center. Stop moving. Stop moving and fire on the town center. You can kill it in one volley. Now he's going after the villagers instead. All of a sudden, action is erupting everywhere out on the map. We've got an attempted penetration here to the north. We've got Cavaliers to the south, but probably the worst location to attack into with that castle there. The Viper's got one Janissary here, slowly gunning down villagers. Why is he moving around so much? Why is he not attacking this town center? What am I missing here? Okay, finally a semi-aggressive castle. I say semi because it really can attack one structure right now. Okay, now he's attacking the house. Oh, okay. And the Viper, undeterred, is going up to, rather is at 30 Janissaries. He's down to 54 villagers. So this is definitely a meme build out of the Viper, which is, we've seen a lot of meme builds recently. Not gonna lie, Hera's game against Mr. Yo, going Tarkans against Eagles. Now we're seeing Janissaries against Cavalry, which again, they will do a good job, but they're not, I don't think they're gonna do really a great job. But even when your base accuracy is 65, 21 is enough to one-shot a villager. Thank God at least for that, for the Viper, whose base is now under attack. And our Slav is so confident that he can win this that he's not even trying with his entire army, which by the way is 7 supply ahead of his opponent, who is now down 51 villagers. Realizes he's not using the full might of the Slavic army. He now descends upon these Janissaries, and he's going Hussars. So yeah, things are gonna go pretty bad here for the Viper, who is attacking. Okay, Treb decides to pack up at the worst possible time, takes a bunch of bullets to the face, and crumbles into a pile of kindling. What do we have over here? Bit of a standoff. Do these guys know that there are gold miners here? No, they don't even know there's a gold patch here. Okay, so luckily for the Viper, these 5 villagers are going to be mining away. And remember, the Turks do mine gold 20% faster. So 5 is as if you had 6 villagers, basically. Generic villagers, I should say. And now a complete band, fully upgraded, of light and heavy cavalry is descending upon the Janissary army. The Viper's resources are absolutely shit. If he loses too much, he will not be able to replenish it. Uh-oh, I see the blue dot moving to the south. I see another engagement to the north of the Viper's base. Now, he's doing a fantastic job. He's obviously microing over here. Back here. Oh, okay. Overtaken is giving him a chance to get back into this by attacking houses in a lumber camp. Has he seen these, by the way? No, he still hasn't seen them. Again, if these were Franks and they had 2 extra line of sight, maybe he would have seen them. Whoa! Whoa, Nelly, what the hell is going on here? The Viper is just absolutely wrecking the economy of his opponent. Now, this is not something I consider. I'm not gonna lie. This is definitely not something I considered when I was mouthing off and running my mouth about the Viper's win conditions, loss conditions. If he can, if he can kill his opponent's villager count so that it even mirrors his, maybe he can survive. The only difference is the Viper has 1 town center, his opponent has 3. And so replenishing the villager count is going to be a lot easier for our blue Slav, who discovers a random bombard. The Viper doesn't repair, doesn't need to. He saves it with 2 HP. What got it? The town center, 1 kill. The castle, 0 kills. The Janissaries, 4. So I'm not too sure what got it at the end of the day. Oh, into a nook. This is so annoying. This is so annoying. So our Slav agrees with me. He takes his 15 army count, heads south. And then the Viper's here with Trebs. Oh my god, what is happening in this game? I thought the Viper was dead 8 minutes ago, but he's knocked Overtaken down for a brief few minutes into the double-digit villager count. But Overtaken, look at that, training 7 villagers at a time. He's going up to a 4th town center. Okay, the Viper has what, like a minute right now to win this game. He loses his Treb as well. He's got to win this now. His Janissary count is up to 39. Where's this one bombard cannon? Why does he still have only 2 HP? Why is he not being repaired? Another Treb unpacks, rather packs up at the worst possible time. Converted Janissary trying to hold the line. He does have 1 kill before he dies. Cavaliers to the north. Cavaliers to the west. Cavaliers to the south. But Janissaries are back. They've got 28 kills. How many of those are villager? Only 4. So the band of villager killers, looks like it was the one over here that died. Oh my god, will the Viper get the trap? No, we need 1 more ball. You need 3 big fiery balls to kill a trap from a BBC. No murder holes. You are not the Teutons who get it for free. The Viper just continuing on his rampage, adding 6 more kills. There's now a wall here, which means he's gonna have to go through a town center, but big whoop, who cares? Oh, never mind. I say he's got to go through a town center. Instead, he's gonna Hannibal his way in. What's the Invectum est? What's the Latin? If there is no way, then I will make one. I forget what the beginning part is. I think the second part is Invectum est, something like that. In any event, Invectum est, Invectum east, Invectum doesn't freaking matter when the Slav is all of a sudden at literally every nook and cranny of your base, and you have a slow-moving Janissary. And by the way, of your 46 army count, half of it, 21 plus, actually 31 of 45 is abroad. 31, 34, 37 out of 45. You've got 8 units at home. This is the Viper's home defense. Yikes. Now, again, luckily for him, our Slav is strangely choosing to attack useless infrastructure, which means the Viper's Janissaries are just free to kill more and more villagers. But look at the villager count. I mean, okay, this game is over. It's only a matter of time until our Slav gets up a big enough army where he can contest. If the Viper had his Janissaries all in one big death ball, then perhaps he could take on with 30, now it's 33, it used to be 46, then 45, now 33. If it was a giant death ball, maybe he could contest this. Unfortunately, he decided to carve up his army into small attack groups, which means that these slightly larger small attack groups from our Slav are going to be enough to absolutely destroy. And by the way, these roving bands of cavalry are making sure that the Viper has 0 ability to reinforce his army, even though his castles in the forward are down, his monastery is down, so no more gold gold income rather for him. These 3 guys have not yet discovered. By the way, have they discovered the gold? They still haven't seen the gold. Viper doing at the 55.5-minute mark of the game what he should have been doing at the 35-minute mark of the game, which is taking down town centers, crippling the ability of the Slav to generate these food-intensive units by forcing him to rebuild town centers and focus on villager training. 34 villagers to 109. Infrastructure being destroyed. Oh my god, are the villagers moving forward to attack the Trebs? Oh, not exactly Spanish supremacy villagers, but let's see what they can get done. I see the Viper's army here, they're just wandering around the perimeter of Blue's base. Okay, he's shooing away the ones who are not attacking, leaving the one that is attacking undefended. Or rather, unattacked. And that's it, the home guard is done. The home guard is dead. And with it goes the Viper. Wow! What a bonkers game. Lately, I don't know if it's this new patch. I don't know if it's just the last week. If somebody put something in the water supply in like Norway and China and Argentina and where all these big players are, these games have been a little wonky in the last week. Let me know if like I said in the initial stages of the meme build here, I mean 63 kills, 34 of that economic is not bad at all, but I rarely see a Janissary only army winning, especially on an open map, especially against a civilization that has cavalry as powerful as the Slavs do. And by powerful, I mean just the endless ability to replenish these hussars with those 15% faster farmers who are now spread out everywhere to the south. I'm shocked that neither player here decided to wall off their base. I mean, it looked like the Viper tried here to the north and here as well, but this is not really a wall off. The south, if you've left half your base open, that's not really a wall off, even if you've walled in the other half. And wow, what an absolute wonky game. I love that our Slav just let this Janissary army roam his base for the last 25 minutes or so, while he himself went on the counteroffensive, taking a page out of Hera's book and saying, if you're attacking into me, hey, guess what, pal? I'm going to attack into you. And he does exactly that, actually manages to save all 3 Trebs. No surprise there. These, again, are not supremacy. These are not Spanish paramilitary villagers. These are not Incan villagers. And, I mean, even if they were, maybe who knows if these Trebs, I mean, supremacy villagers probably would have killed these Trebs. Who's kidding who? And they probably could have taken this fight against a bunch of Hussars with 95 HP. But wow, the Viper, maybe trying something new, maybe trying something fun, does go meme build. Looks like a bunch of Cavaliers ultimately did die here. Those 3 Cavaliers, 0 kills for the castle, 1 for you. So who killed the other 2? Is it you guys? No, they just killed 1. Ultimately, the Viper does fall just because, again, even though his gunpowder unit is ridiculously strong attacking on a 22, his ability to replenish it is non-existent. Not when he has 34 villagers. What was his villager high? Like 50 something? Low 50s? So the Viper just sacrificing his economy. We saw Hera do it again. When was it? A few games ago, we saw him do it, rushing up to Imperial. The Viper did take a little bit slower going up to Imperial. He did rush, though. Got out the Janissary and ultimately, yeah, couldn't keep up economically. And like I said, Overtaken can afford to lose army after army after army because he can replenish. Got 106 villagers. Only for a short time was he down below 100. 156 Janissaries, 103 Cavaliers. Let's call them Cavaliers. Majority of the game they were. Look at the peak APM for both players, be above 200. 50-minute mark of the game, 41-minute mark of the game. Well, I want to, after I do this review real quick, I want to see what 41-18 was, because 257 APM is ridiculous. That's Hera level, and that's like Hera on a good day. 3 relics to 2, so about an extra 1,000 in gold. And look, 22,000 difference in economy. Not quite 50%, but what? 43, 44, 45%? A lot more wood, a lot more food, a tiny bit more gold. This is interesting. Although, again, facing the Turk, gold is always going to be a big question mark. And I can't really do the math real quick, but this doesn't look like 650 difference. So not even a castle's worth of difference. Although I don't think did he get detonets? Did our Slav research any unique technologies? I don't think so. Druzhina definitely. Trample damage on his infantry when he had 0 infantry was not researched. I don't think he researched detonets either. So less than 600 stone difference here is less than 1 castle's worth. 12 conversions out of 177 is not bad. That's not bad. That's still a good percentage. What is that, like 7-8%? Maybe a bit more. 6% maybe. Sorry guys, I'm trying to do the math off the cuff, and it is sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. The Viper almost 300 kills. Hilariously actually gets more villager kills than his opponent. His opponent killing about 82 fewer units and 45 of them being fewer villagers as well, but didn't really need to kill that many villagers because the Viper just didn't have that many villagers. Even if you add the 73 back up to this 30 to this 34, he just reaches the level that Overtaken is now. Basically, 1 ahead versus added back in 118 villagers for our non-Mahayana civilization. And that was about as fun a game as I've seen this week. Again, the games have just been wonky. It's been an interesting week. Let me know if that's your experience as well. And more importantly, let me know in the comments, do you agree? What's your experience been like with armies that are just pure Janissaries? Because again, I rarely see them win games. And it might just be my anecdotal experience. It might just be the games that I'm watching. But I don't know. I suspect it's the combination of really slow attack combined with just the low HP. 8 range is decent. Maybe not in Imperial Age, but 8 range is decent. But in Imperial Age, now you're contending with stronger units, or you're contending with units that are just going to swarm over you. like these hussars will. And the Viper said, you know what? I know that 10 camels can basically ruin this entire Slavic army. I don't care about that. I don't care about that at all. I'm just going double down on Janissaries, doubles down on Janissaries, gets an insane number of villager kills with them, 118, but ultimately his economy is just not up to snuff. It is way too small, way too open, way too exposed to the Slavic army, and reinforcements have to stream all the way across the map, and they are getting picked off by these cavalry units, who are now also, by the way, going to kill 12 more villagers. So the Viper's villager count is going to be 22. So he had a 16, dealer showed a 10. He hit, he got a 6, landed 22, went busto, decided, you know what, I'm done. My bankroll's over. My trip to Vegas is over. I'm going to live to fight another day. Taps out, and it has overtaken our Slav with the never-ending pivots of his economy, trying to keep away from these Janissaries, who takes the W, but GG to both players. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips and make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so that you're notified of my latest uploads.